Slow. Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning.
Yes.
How are
Advocates,
you?
I am wonderful. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good. I can't complain.
Okay, there's no sense in it. No sense in complaining. We
Nope.
we are Politics, Beauty, and Barber. We are the Concerned Beauty and Barber Professionals, and this is our Tuesday, June 23rd industry update. There's a lot going on in our industry, Danielle. It is never ending. I think most states are back at work. Looking
Yes.
forward to hearing from our advocates about how they're doing because it's been a long journey these past couple months, right?
Oh, yes. Long and draining. Very draining.
I think it really did take its toll on us, and sadly, it's like we had to. This, as crazy as this sounds, it's kind of like it had to happen, but
Right.
because it's something good going to be on the other side of it. I just keep believing that there's something good on the other side of this because this pandemic has it's been something different.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I agree. I think that it's definitely going to bring about a lot of change in. If I speak for myself, I had to do a lot of self reflection, self reevaluation, and just really take a look at the things that I was currently doing and what I wanted to do in the future. So it was definitely a shift.
It was a shift because we all had to get still. We all had to take a moment, like you say, and reflect on who
Yes.
am I? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And there's a lot of professionals that, have decided to leave the industry. A lot of our older professionals who don't feel safe coming back after COVID, which you kind of got to understand. I think, I said to somebody, I think we're all carriers. Like if we don't have it, I think we're all probably carrying it, like in some
Or we,
capacity, right?
or we may have already had it. But, if I put on my tinfoil hat, I think a lot of us may have already had a touch of it in the
Mm-hmm.
fall, winter months. Just from talking to different people, reading Facebook posts, a lot of people, I think, already experienced it.
And my son, back in like I want to say February, my son was so sick. Like
Oh,
my son
yes.
was sick for like 2 weeks, and he doesn't get he gets colds, but this time he was really sick, and he stayed out of school, and it took him like 2 weeks to really get back to himself, and I was exposed to that. So I'm like,
Yes.
like he may
Yes.
have had. I said to him, I said, I think you may have had it, and I was definitely.
Yes.
He was in the house. I was
Oh,
exposed to
yes.
that.
And it's scary because we didn't know anything about it. We didn't know what was happening. I think I may have had it back in December.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember, I told you I was off of work for close to 3 months. Even I was just getting myself ready and prepared to go back into the salon and return to work when we were, mandated to shut down by our state because
Mm-hmm.
I was sick from, I would say, between December, January, February, March. Well, I would say beginning of March, I started to finally feel some relief. I just
Wow.
could not seem to recover. As soon as I thought I was kind of, coming over the hump of it, my symptoms would flare right back up.
Wow. So maybe,
Yes.
and your family was exposed to you. So,
Right, right, right. So I just took off. I didn't, because I wasn't sure. At the time we didn't know that it could be that. They just told me that it was like a pneumonia or a like a viral bronchitis. I mean, they were coming up with different, you know, names for it. But once the information came our way, and I read and I did my research, I was looking at the symptoms, and I said, this is very similar to what I was already going through. A lot of
mhm,
my symptoms were the same, and I'm just very thankful, and I praise God that I'm here right now having this
mhm.
conversation. I mean, I even had an aunt that we were in Atlanta in February, and I would say by the middle of March, she was sick, very sick, to almost, dying. She was put on a ventilator. She was in the hospital for 3 weeks, and thankfully she's home. She's doing a lot better, and she is in her 70s. So that was definitely
Mm,
a blessing.
mhm, mhm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're in some uncharted waters, and I think the CDC is still trying to figure it out. You know, they come out with all these suggestions and recommendations and guidelines, and I think, you know, there's really no solid answer to any of it. And, you know, our industry has had to navigate these new waters, this new territory. And I just, you know, I'm glad that we are, you know, we're trying to, I know we're trying to do the right thing. You know, we've been trained for such a time as this, so I know we're trying to do the right thing.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think it's our job as professionals that if you are showing symptoms, if you, you know, you're not feeling well, then you should, you know, let your clients know, stay home, you know, reschedule out with, you know, the clients that you need to, and take care of yourself first. So then that way you can take care of those around you, your family, your clients, business, and so forth.
Yeah. And we're not out of the water. So let's get that real clear, beauty and barber professionals. Do not relax. Do not get comfortable again, because you know we're prone to do that. We're prone to like, oh, that's just Miss So-and-so. She's all right. That's Mr. So-and-so. He's all right. No, nobody's all right. You are to treat everyone as if they are, you know, a carrier. And this is a highly contagious virus. So that I know we have guests this morning. Danielle, tell us where we go from here.
All righty. Well, first up, I believe we have Miss Adrienne from North Carolina to come on and give us an update.
Oh, look at Miss Adrienne.
Yes, look at us in uniform.
Yes.
You look fabulous, my dear. Just fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome. How you doing in North Carolina?
We're doing okay in North Carolina. It is hot and humid and sticky, and we are pedicuring like crazy in North Carolina. But I think salons are doing okay. It's interesting. We've been open since May 23rd, I think. So we're on the month, and I'm seeing some of my clients back that I saw when we first opened for their pedicures. But it has slowed a little bit. The phone is not ringing as much as it was in the beginning. So it's interesting that first wave, everybody jumping, looking for somebody new. It's calmed down a little bit. So we're back to doing our marketing like we were before, and posting the pictures and doing the Instagram constantly to see, you know, what kind of new clients show up.
Why do you think it's slow? Like, what do you think? That's interesting to hear you say that, you know, there was such this surge of people that like, I need to get my feet, my hand. You think that everybody get their services and now they don't need them? Like, what do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. I think because in the beginning, some counties around us were closed and one is still closed. So people were coming in from those areas. And I'm not sure if people have maybe taken a step back because everything is open. Maybe some salons weren't all open in the beginning. I know for us, because of the surge, we tended not to take new clients. So lost business, but we couldn't accommodate everybody. And now we're trying to adjust to being 50% capacity. So for myself, I went from a 35 to 40 hour work week, and to be fair to the other nail techs so we can all make our money, I'm working some weeks 25 hours. So cutting my hours limits my ability to take people also. Those hours are full for me, but I know some of the other girls that weren't as established as I am are still struggling to fill the book. So I'm not really sure. Everyone's going out to the bars, and some places are wide open, no masks. Raleigh just came down with you have to wear a mask out in public, but there still are the rebels that aren't following that. And so I think we've seen a surge of cases. I myself have had a couple cancellations. I've had 2 clients that tested positive. Luckily, I had not seen them yet. So, yeah, so we canceled them out, and I know they said 2 weeks, but I'm like, I'll see you in 3 or 4.
Absolutely. So, just to keep it safe. Now, are you all requiring clients to wear PPE like masks and things like that? Okay.
We are. We have in all of our reminders and appointment notifications are our list of waiting in the car. The front door is locked. We will escort you in. You must have your mask on before you come in. We're doing temperature checks. Everybody, even if you're getting a pedicure, you wash your hands before you sit down at the pedicure chair. And some of us were having them wash their hands again after nail services before they go out. They're wearing masks, we're wearing gloves and face shields, doing acrylic and gel nails. So all the hairdressers are wearing masks and hand sanitizing and spraying all the chairs down in between people. So
good. Now, have you had any?
We can think of.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Have you had anyone like give you trouble as far as taking those protective measures?
Only a couple of people, because the way the nail department is set up, each nail tech is in their own room for nail services so that we can have that 6 foot apart. And some of our clients have come in and thought they could come in the room and then take their mask off. And we're like, no, no, no. You got to keep it on. Or we've had 1 or 2 people in the pedicure chair lower it to their chin. And we're like, just, we're not 6 feet, you're not 6 feet tall.
Yes.
We're not 6 feet apart. So, and there's other people around. Let's keep it on.
Yeah.
But it's just been a handful. It's just been a handful.
Wow.
And I know that they're probably the ones that aren't wearing it out anywhere else.
So they just put it on just to come get their services done, and they're snatching it right off.
Yeah, and if you're not wearing it anywhere else, you better keep that on when you're in the salon.
That's right. That's right. I think that's great. I mean, we have to protect ourselves, of course, our clients, Absolutely. But we have to take care of ourselves first.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's
awesome. Well, thank you, North Carolina. Thank you. That T-shirt looks good. Is
You're
that a
welcome.
short sleeve or a long sleeve? I was trying to see.
This is
it's
short
good.
sleeve.
Good.
Yep.
Awesome. We look forward to having you back next time, giving us an update on North Carolina. Thank you, Adrienne.
Thank you so much, Adrienne. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
So we're going to need some long sleeve for the winter.
I know, right? We got to get some short sleeves and some long sleeves.
Absolutely.
So what's
next up, we have Miss Jackie from Ohio. She's going to come on and give us an update.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ohio. How are you?
Fine.
Awesome.
I want to piggyback off of Adrienne. Like, we're doing the temperature checks, the must wear mask in the salon. I felt like the consumers rushed us to go back into the salons. So where are they now?
Yes, where are you, right?
Yes.
And
like, we're here waiting on you. Where are you?
Right, so it's a little quiet. But I did my first pedicure Saturday. I hadn't did any of those.
How did it go?
It went good because I was dreading doing it, but I do it. I don't want to do that right now. But I did it, and it was okay. It was.
Okay.
And before, I kept kind of saying to check your resources in your area, your county and stuff like that. So pretty much around here, our county has been working with us to help us to get PPE. So, and there's some different grants and stuff like that out there for PPE. So just trying to stay conscious of the PPE and and all of that kind of stuff. And the other thing was Brenda brought up the issue of House Bill 673. So we'll be keeping an eye on that for the next couple of weeks.
Tell everybody what it is briefly for those that don't know.
Yeah, so House Bill 673 is in the event that you venture out and you go into the nursing homes or, facilities other than your salon, then you have to have another license to go into those places. So the issue is, okay, we're already licensed, so why do we have to acquire another license to go to those places? And possibly is it just like, a moneymaker for the state, another way for them, to bring in revenue.
Somehow all roads lead back to the money.
Yeah.
That's it,
You
Yeah.
right?
gotta chase the
Right?
money. I'm learning. You have to chase the money. Wow.
So
Mhm.
that's pretty much my story.
Well, thank you, Ohio. We got another guest coming up. We're trying to stay on schedule this morning, but thank you, Ohio, for that update. We look forward to having you back real soon to make sure we keep everybody abreast of what's happening across the nation as it specific to our industry.
Thank you all.
Awesome.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much. We look so good in uniform, don't we, ladies?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Every time I see our shirt, I just get so excited. It's like, yes.
Doing it.
Representing. That's right.
See you soon, Jackie.
Okay, thank you. You too.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Awesome. All right. We are moving right along this morning.
Yes, we are rocking and rolling. So next up, we have our guest speaker, which I am extremely excited about, Miss Racine. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
You did.
Good morning.
Good
Welcome.
morning. Good morning. I was so enthralled. I said, I want a t-shirt too. Can you guys give me an honorary t-shirt, please?
Wait a minute, you read my mind, Racine. I was just going to say, I feel like you should have on a t-shirt too. Everyone needs a t-shirt.
I tried to get a uniform. I did put on black,
That's right. That's right. There you go. So you're somewhat in uniform today.
I am so glad to be with you all today. And I'm sending out peace and blessings to all the creative salon owners and barbers, etc., all over. And I am so with where you guys are going. Think of this as a positive move. And we all are learning from this, time from everything that have been in place. So, I am praying because I'm learning along with you guys as well, especially in my industry as a personal financial coach. And a couple of 3 years ago or so, we started doing more virtual appointments, just so we can get to more people in general. But also, I have a physical office, just like you guys have the salons. And luckily, I was able to transition my business to be more virtual, And so I have a number of clients, in the creative, the beauty salons and barbers in their areas. And so I've heard your stories and I've, worked with them financially to help them move and grow. And some of the things that I've literally have thought about with them is a couple of areas. One of them I've heard, them saying, hey, I want to learn more about getting my taxes in order, helping me organize. And so I've been able to sit there and do that and help them, actually reduce their taxes, really organize so they can get their taxes together. But what
That's
I'm finding, exactly. And one major area where I'm finding that I think is a cornerstone of your guys' business is really organizing. That means structuring your business as a business. So I've had some that hasn't gotten, incorporated, you know. Some of them have not gotten their tax ID numbers. And that's significant because when we were applying for PPP loans and the EIDL loan through Small Business Administration, a lot of individuals weren't prepared, and I had a lot of phone calls that came in and said, hey, Racine, where do I start? Where do I go? And some of them, oddly enough, may not have had, a business banking relationship as well. That was one of the things that they look at as well, because they automatically deposit those funds into those accounts. Okay. So that was one of the cornerstones that brought out in the last 3 or 4 months significantly, that structure of your business. And think about it from this perspective. You guys are business owners. Okay. Your legitimacy and your growth sets you and making sure you set your business up officially. Okay. And one of the other things as I helped them move that, when I talked about the Dun and Bradstreet, remember your personal credit we talk about. And some people say, Racine, my credit is not where it needs to be. But you also have a business credit file. And you set that up through Dunn's and Bradstreet. And I talk to my clients about how to do that and start a trade line or trade lines. So along with the taxes, I talked about budgeting, not only a personal budget, but a business budget. You know, when you're doing your profit and loss and you're doing your balance sheet, you also need to look at, hey, what is my business spending and what is my business taking in? Okay. And literally make some changes on how to, efficiently run your business. And I know things change and you can, schedule for emergencies, etc. So that's coming up to the saving part. Okay. And we talk about saving personal and business. Okay. And I always talk about an emergency fund. There's 3 accounts you should always have. You should always have your emergency fund, which is about 6 months of your salary. Okay. And some people say, Racing, I can't save money. I can't really put aside money. So I came up with a quick, simple approach. I have to do it myself. You have one client that come in. Let's say it's $50 for the service. Set aside 10% of that. Okay? $5. You can actually invest, which is my second account, talking about long-term savings and wealth. You can start an account for $25 and invest. You do business with different companies. Why not become an owner in those businesses as well? Because you're spending money with them, right? All right. So setting up those 3 accounts, a savings account, a long-term account, and also a wealth building account, which is your retirement. Because most people are been in the business. I heard you guys talk about, hey, they're, the older salon owners, etc., are having to transition out. Well, hey, let's talk about a succession plan. Okay. It's just not necessarily retirement, but hey, they might want to transition their business over to someone and still have it continue to grow, even though they're not physically in the business. Some of them know it as franchising. Okay. That's an option, at some point, and just putting that foundation in place, because you guys already have the marketing and people, salon names, they're always in your client's ear and they're always referring you, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
So, you have that credibility. Why not move it forward? Okay. Madam CJ Walker is a great, personification of that. All right. And then the last thing I talk about, building a banking relationship, and building an inner circle. And literally, I had to make sure myself to build an inner circle. I have a business banking relationship and I can call him up. You don't have to have $50 million in the bank to do that. Okay. I call him up. I got his cell phone number. I have the bank number and I have his personal line. So if I need something, I can pick up the phone. I don't necessarily save in the bank, but if I need to make sure, my business checking, etc., my business line of credit, I have that relationship. So build those relationships with the people. And I always make sure I'm in the community. And one of the really, really focal points of my business is doing business in my community so that, hey, I give back, especially. So literally develop your inner circle. And if there is, your accountant, making sure you have a financial coach, because sometimes they're not one and the same. Okay. Making sure you have a banking relationship with a bank. It doesn't have to be a large bank. It could be a community bank that fosters business owners. Okay. And also you have suppliers, your supply chain. Make sure you have a really good relationship with them, making sure you get wholesale prices, because they're long-term relationships with you as well. So all of those things, I tell you, I have an inner circle. Whenever I have someone I need to pick up the phone and call with a personal or business, I have that inner circle. So it's worked well for me. And more often than not, I'm a really good worker. If I know that Danielle has a talent for something, or I know Tamara has a talent for something, I'm always keeping that mentally in my ear and in my brain, because I know that Jasmine is going to need somebody for this, because I may not be able to handle that. So those are things. And so I'm sitting in you guys' salons and you guys are real good at talking and listening. And my business is just the same. I want to listen to where you are. I want to help you move to where you want to go. And this is a long-term relationship. long
I love
term.
you.
I love y'all too.
So
You know,
powerful.
I'm with family right now. You know, I'm with family,
That's
so
right.
you know, I feel really comfortable.
We have a question. Does credit unions give business loans?
There are some that do, and they're more the medium-sized credit unions. You know, and I can name a few, but I'm not going because everybody's different. That's
Yeah.
right. So there are medium-sized ones that have chains in multiple cities. You know, so
That's good to
definitely.
know.
Uh-huh.
That's good to know. And I think what really stood out is not only just your passion for what you do in your industry, but just your love for people overall. And I think that that's something that we definitely need in our industry because I don't speak for myself. I always seem to be surrounded by a lot of takers. And sometimes you feel like, oh, it's just another person that wants to take my money or another person that's going to tell me what to do with my money. But I like how you really broke it down to explain that it's like building a house. You have to set a foundation and take certain steps so that way you can have a great outcome. And I just love the way you broke that down. And even
Thank
creating, I was taking notes. So even building a circle, I think that is so important because we spoke on a previous show that in the industry, we tend to feel like, we're on this island by ourselves. You don't really have anyone to talk to or connect with, especially if you work alone. A lot of, beauty professionals are working in salon suites or at in-home salons. So those are just things that you completely forget about, is that you do need a circle of people around you that are going to help you and benefit you and your business. And then you can share with them your gifts and talents as well.
Absolutely.
I
I
love
agree.
that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Awesome. And definitely, yeah. And that's why I'm here. And if anyone needs me, I'm there. I'm there.
Racine, do you have a website?
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Merrill. I was just going to ask. Drop those candles.
And recreating my website now as we speak, getting into the new year. But I'll give you my my website, my email, and I have a toll-free number as well. And that is info.
Toll-free number, because I'm going to put it on the screen.
All right. 1-866-841-9496.
What's the last four again, Racine?
9496.
Okay, I'm gonna put that on the screen. You can go ahead and give us your
all right. And
is
email,
that right? 866-841-9496.
Perfect. Yep. And then it's info at Racine, RACINE, Rikard, RIKARD.com.
Awesome. And I'll put that on the screen for the next time. So that's info at RacineRikard.com.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. I was taking notes too, Racine. I got, being incorporated, making sure you have your EIN number. Tell me if I did good. Banking, making sure you have that relationship. Make sure you have your Duns and Bradstreet. Make sure you're budgeting. And when you're saving, you need to have an emergency fund. You need to have an investment fund. And you need to have your retirement fund. And make sure you have your inner circle.
Damn.
Okay.
Y'all get an A+.
So I can cheat off some of Tamara's notes because I missed some of that, but I got what was good for me.
Awesome. I'm proud of y'all. I'm so proud
of you. And we are proud of you too, sis, to really, evolve in a time where so many other people are curling up and putting their heads in the sand. It just shows your tenacity and your innovation to say, hey, I can still do what I love, do it virtually, and still, make a living for yourself as well. Exactly. So I think that speaks to, just that reevaluation, that readjusting, and just really moving forward.
Gotcha. And so glad to have been with you guys, and love you. And if you need me, hey, I'm here. Enjoyed my time with you.
Hope you'll come back and maybe take, we would love to have you come back weekly, but I'll let you decide that. But
I'm at your beck and call. Okay.
Don't tell us that.
You all are part of my inner circle now. So if you need me, that's why I've built this business for over 20 years. Okay.
And you're coming back and giving us more about how, the incorporation process, just giving us some nuggets, maybe take about 10 minutes and give us these nuggets specific to all this great, you gave us this big overview. Now I'm sure it requires some dialogue, and I'm sure people will have questions. And if you don't, if you want to reach out to Racine, her number is on the screen, 866-841-9496. And I'll make sure on the next broadcast we have your email address there as well. This is the kind of information that we have to share. There's a lot of people, Racine, that did not get the PPP, those monies. They did get unemployment, Racine. They didn't have savings. Our industry was in such a bad place with this pandemic. We had to go back to work, and not that we really, were prepared, because we didn't have the PPEs, the personal protective equipment. We didn't even have what we needed. But we had to go back in order to make sure we fed our families, and we survived. So we're not in the best situation. And I've seen other broadcasts, and I've been a part of other broadcasts where, there's been salons, bigger salons, these corporate salons that have gotten this money. But this money did not trickle down to the small business people, the ones that stand behind the chair as independent contractors, the ones that do this without, they do this, like you say, on their own personal, like using their own personal credit. They're not using a part of this structure. So we have a lot of work to do, and I believe we speak to that. So we would love to have you come back, Racine, and give us more information so that we can kind of dive in. And if, like I said, industry professionals, reach out to her. I've known Racine. Let me see, my oldest was in a carrier. Racine, he'll be 22 years old.
Oh my God.
So I've known you from the very beginning of this, and she is solid, y'all. She is solid. So thank you, Racine, for all.
You're welcome. And I'm just gonna make one last statement. The SBA has opened up the PPP loan process or grant process. You guys don't step away and say, it's not for me. Do the application. It takes 5 minutes.
Now, can someone who's already received some benefits from the PPP loan, can they reapply, or is this for people who haven't received anything?
I would say both, because I've had some people to go back in and ask for more money, and so, but I've had some people who have said, well, Racine, I don't know. I don't think I can. I don't think I should. Do it.
Try it anyway. Okay. I appreciate you sharing that. I'm going to try. I'm definitely going to try.
Our community needs it.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
But we talk finances with Miss Racine, y'all. 866-841-9496. Reach out to her. She has agreed to come back. You see, we just reeled her in. So we'll have her back and continue to have these kind of financial conversations. Danielle.
Absolutely.
I love it. I think it's so important, because we don't talk money in our industry. We don't. I mean, this is a $1 billion industry, and hairstylists, barbers. I mean, we really don't talk about money as much as we should. We show the money, but we don't really talk about, how to really sustain our businesses and build a legacy.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Miss Racine. We will see you next week. Look, you already said you're coming back.
Done.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All righty.
Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Ooh, that's some good stuff.
That was deep. And I was just thinking, if anyone watching has questions for Miss Racine, please drop them in the comments. And then maybe we can, if she takes a look at those questions, or we can send those to her so she can answer them on our next segment. Because I think, she seems very willing to help. She's very knowledgeable, and we are lucky to have her.
Yeah, we got Kevin in Texas. Can we bring him?
Oh, snap. Yes. Let's get an update on Texas, honey.
Texas.
Do I need to get my coffee cup ready? You got your water. I feel like I got a sip coming on.
How y'all doing this morning?
How you doing, Mr. Kevin?
I'm okay.
How is it going down in Texas?
For me, or for
in general? For you, for the industry? Give us an update, please.
Well, I'm gonna say, for me, I'm not in a good place right now. Even I've been back about a month, and things are quite different now. You got people that are still afraid to come to the salons, and you have people that come and do not want to comply to my hair compressor.
Only in the barbershop, y'all. Only in the barbershop. I think he's frozen too. Did he freeze
no,
up? It shut him down. Not only was it loud, it shut him down, Danielle.
Oh, he was just getting to the good stuff.
I know. You know, there's a lot. Let's see if he.
Hopefully he can come back on and share with us. Oh.
Yeah, she wants to know what is the website to the PPP application. Just got in here. Carol, it is on the SBA website. I believe that's what Racine was saying. But reach out to Racine. Her number is still on the screen. Reach out to her and she can definitely give you information. But definitely go to the SBA website.
The SBA website? Okay. SBA.gov. Okay, so she said SBA.gov. That was great to know because I am going to check that out.
Is that right, Ms. Racine? She's still there. She's nodding. Is that right, Ms. Racine?
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. She said she's gonna stick around at SBA.gov. Yep, she's gonna stick around just in case. Yes, get him back. Hopefully he comes back. Texas. He was saying how, you know, people haven't come back. The same thing as Adrian said, that they came back, like, you know, I guess those that really wanted to come back were anxious to get their services. I guess the masses aren't quite ready yet. And I think people are moving relatively slow with, you know, how and whether they want to come back aggressively is not or not.
Right. I think another thing may be depending on what's happening, you know, at the time. Like, for example, in my area, I know a lot of times our clients will come in waves. If there's, you know, if there's prom, I know there's prom, graduations, you know, different events, special occasions that people were getting ready for. So that may have brought in, you know, a lot of clients, and now things are kind of slowing down. So hopefully things will start picking up for them again. My county actually opens on, I think, Friday, the 29th, where the entire state is going green. So that'll be interesting.
Oh, going green.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we still had, I mean, like even my county, we're still in yellow. I believe last week, what were my numbers? We had about 21 counties that were still in yellow, including my county.
So y'all had a color code system.
Yes, ours was color coded, and they did it in phases. So now, as of this Friday, I believe the entire state of Pennsylvania will be considered green, in phase green.
Wow, so it's a goal for everybody. But I'm sure what are they saying about the mask? Is it mandatory with the mask? What are they saying?
Yes, they are saying masks are mandatory. You know, of course, your PPE, you must clean after, you know, before and after every client. Social distancing, everyone still has to be, you know, within 6 feet. And salons, I believe, can't go over a certain level of capacity, certain number of capacity. I should have had that in front of me, but I don't. And if we have time, I did want to touch on Michigan too, because
yeah, you did.
I didn't want to forget to touch on Michigan because now, as of right now, I don't believe we have any member advocates in Michigan, and I wanted to make sure that we brought this information to the forefront. But Michigan right now is going through a deregulation. There is a House bill number 5819. And this bill would allow anyone to practice barbering, cosmetology, manicuring, aesthetics, electrology, and operating a school without a license or training. And I just think that, you know, if we have professionals that are in that state, or if you know any beauty professionals, barbers, nail techs, estheticians, please send this information to them, share this with them, because this deregulation is happening. So while, you know, we've been focused on so many other things, our legislators are moving right along with these bills, and they are trying to pass them, right? You know, while our eyes are focused on something else.
And COVID has given it some wind, this virus, because when we shut down, you know, I have mentioned this before, that, you know, constitutionally, I'm not sure that was something that we should have done or were able to do. So I know that that will be challenged, and for them, you know, saying that if you're licensed, then they have jurisdiction over you operating. People are like, well, to hell with this license. I'm going back to work. So it's given deregulation some wind.
Yes.
And we got to be real careful about how this, and watch this and be mindful and be part of the process if we want to save our license. And a lot of people like, look, if the license is my barrier to going back to work, y'all can have this license because I'm going back to work.
Oh yes, we've had that happen here in my state, in Pennsylvania. Some of them went on the news and just kind of made it public. And I believe a lot of professionals just went back to work. They could not afford to stay closed any longer. And I think that was one of the pressing issues, is that you want us to stay home. You want to, keep our businesses closed, but there was no assistance, no funding for a lot of these professionals, these business owners. And a lot of people did have to kind of, draw a line in the sand and say, hey, take my license. I don't care. And that was just truly, truly heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm. So we're kind of like between a rock and a hard place with this.
Absolutely.
We are. And why, and legislators have asked me along the way over the years, if you go to school and you get certified and you get all this training, why do you need a license? And that's a question that this industry has got to kind of come up with some better answers to, because we tend to speak out of emotion. I feel and I think those are not substantial, that those are not answers. Those are not good enough answers to say why we should have a license. If our license is not rooted in education, and if it's not rooted in health and safety and sanitation and infection control, we don't need a license. Right. So this is why we've been fighting as an organization to have continual education. We should be mandated to have continual education. As these viruses and things change, we need to be abreast. We don't always need to be catching up and figuring it out. Like this is what happened in this COVID season, Danielle. We're catching up.
Oh yes. And I think a lot of people did not, well, I want to say professionals, I don't think a lot of professionals realized how serious this issue was. It's one thing to hear about another state having issues or possible deregulation, but to see so many states now moving towards it, or even people just not really worried about having a licensure at all, I think it should start to raise some red flags. I worked hard for my license. I mean, mine was not handed to me. I can't go through the whole, story, but no one handed me a license. I had to work for mine. And I even went back to obtain my educator license because there were certain areas in the industry that I wanted to go into. So I definitely just want to, let people know that, we are professionals. That licensure is what separates us from just anyone saying that they do the same thing that you do. You put your time in, you earned your hours, you took your test, you paid your dues. A lot of us are still paying back student loans. Those loans are still due with or without a license. So keep that in mind as well.
And we know our stuff.
Absolutely.
We know our stuff. I mean,
absolutely.
Not only have we put in the time, like we know our stuff. We may not always practice it. And I think this is where COVID has brought that to the light. Like we weren't doing everything that we have been trained to do, but we do know it. And many of us have to go back and possibly refresh. And I want professionals to know that deregulation is not just total elimination. They have been very successful at picking us apart. Let me give y'all some numbers. I don't think y'all really understand the magnitude. Our organization started tracking bills. We started in 2011, but we actually started tracking car numbers in 2015. Just to give you guys some numbers, in 2015 we tracked 308 bills. In 2016 we tracked 343 bills. In 2017 we tracked 409 bills. In 2018 we tracked 355 bills. In 2019 we tracked 266 bills. Now, 2020, we have 422 bills that we've had on our radar.
That's 422.
That is more than what we had in 2017, which our high was 409. So just know that deregulation, like in Michigan right now, is elimination. Like just let's get rid of it. It's one sweeping bill. Yeah. They have been able to pick us apart and they've been picking us apart for very, very long time.
Absolutely, because we weren't not sticking together. I mean, just even the conversations that I've had, stylists will say, well, I have my license, I'm not worried about it, or good, I'm tired of paying my yearly or bi-yearly dues. And I really hope that just bringing more awareness, more education, professionals will understand how important your licensure is and how hard you did work for it.
Mm-hmm. And this, honestly, Danielle, I just don't think this is a conversation that we should be having. I don't think we as professionals should be having a conversation, about why.
Right.
I think we need to be talking about how do we fight this back? How do we sustain our industry? How do we fight back? What does that look like? We're beyond why. We know why.
Right.
And legislators, they're and they tend to think they're the know-all, the be-all, and the know-all, and they're not. I think what I like to do, what I always like to tell professionals, let me remind you that we are the power. We voted these people in, and we can vote these people out. And when they see us organize and mobilize, that is scary. They may have money, they may have power, they may have quote unquote influence, but when you're mobilized and you're organized, and the one thing they can't fight you is the votes.
That's
we
right.
voted for you. We could attack a legislator on such a level that we can get them unseated. That's if we do this right.
We have to fight. We do have to fight. There is no more, it's not going to happen to us, or that's fine. No, like you said, you have to stand up and fight.
And he just said we need a union. Let's go back to the word union, because I think people keep using these words that, unions, and I respect unions, I support unions, I believe in unions. They have been they have been watered down so bad, and we are we're licensed professionals, and we can organize and we can act as a union if we don't have a union. It would be great if we had one. We are an organization. We are an organized body of beauty and barber professionals, and we need professionals to come together. That's what a union does. They come together and they fight together. And if we do that, we win. Whether you call it a union, whether you call it an organization, we have to do the work. So I appreciate the comment, Mr. Mack, but we got to get to a place where we're doing the work. We're not even doing the work. I think Kevin is back. Let me see.
Is he able to come back? Okay, great.
Kevin, are you back?
Yes, sorry. I don't know what happened. Got kicked out or something. I don't know what happened.
Technology ain't always our friend.
Yes. It's the mail lady coming in.
On the heels of telling us how things are in Texas. How are you?
Everything is good in Texas, but what I was stating earlier, that I'm not in a good place as far as business is concerned right now, because it's been a month, but things are gradually getting back into motion here in Texas, because when I look back at it now, I feel that the governor did open up kind of too fast. He opened up too fast. The reason why I say that is because when as far as, because we had to do appointment only, and it was only one stylist, one customer to a stylist or a barber, and I'm just gonna tell you that's not a good thing, because if you're a barber, you cut hair. Should take about 20 minutes to do a haircut, 20-25, but the flow traffic is not there. So I just have to keep doing. I just have to act like I'm still in the pandemic when I wasn't here. Like, as far as spending money, really just making the money and just holding on to it, because now Texas they're saying it's a second wave they're saying it's a second wave of the coronavirus, and Texas is number 5 when it out of the, I think it's like 22, 23 states where it has the second wave has came back, but Texas is number 5. The numbers are rising. Just from my hometown, it was close to 1,000 people overnight. So Greg Abbott,
Wait, there was 1,000 cases
yes,
overnight.
overnight. It was not real close to 1,000, but
But dang, just to hear that there was a surge in cases is
yeah, there's a big surge in cases here in Texas. A big surge. So
what about hospitalization? Are these people being hospitalized?
yes,
Am I saying that right? It's not coming out right.
and that's the hospitalization is what's happening because that's where the rise, they see the rise in hospitalization, and that's where they're getting the data from. So Greg Abbott said the governor was saying that closing Texas down would be the last resort. That's what he says. So if these numbers keep rising in Texas, we'll probably see some things happen, go back into remission, just like in Florida, the state of Florida, they closed down, back down the bars and the restaurants. So that's where we are right now.
And I don't know how we. I mean, they're going to have to really make some real provisions this time around. If they shut that state down, they need to have on everybody's doorstep. Everybody needs some food. Everybody need a check in their mailbox. Like, I mean, it's no way around this time where people don't get fed and people don't get a check.
Right.
Yeah. Kevin, we know you're
so scary.
Yeah, we know you're at work, and we thank you for stopping in and giving us an update. I'm saddened to hear that there is totally been an uptick in cases in Texas.
Okay, well, I'm not worried about anything because my business is set up right. Okay, and it's like I saw some data yesterday where it said 41% of African Americans' business in America has been depleted. 41%. That's almost half of the African American business in America. So I was listening to what the lady before us was saying. She was saying that it's best to get our business credit. Business credit is very important during this time, especially business credit. And a lot of our barbershops and beauty shops are not set up right. A lot of barbershops are still operating up under a DBA, which a DBA is just like a certificate. And so I've worked this year hard to get my business, with really the last 3 years to change some things. And so I just want to say to those out there that's just listening, get your salons and your barbershops, your business has to be set up right. You have to pay your taxes. You have to file your taxes.
That's right.
And that's what they're looking at. They're seeing that all the independent contractors that's coming into the barbershops and salons, they're seeing that, okay, these people are not paying, they're not paying taxes. So you have the barbershop owner carrying the whole weight.
Yeah.
So that's just my take on it. In business, we need a financial advisor, a lawyer, a bookkeeper, and an accountant. Those are the 4 major things that we need for survival. We need a lawyer on deck. We need the lawyer on deck.
That's right.
Because it's very important, because somebody coming to your beauty shop or barbershop and they get the corona from your barbershop or your beauty shop, you up against a lawsuit. That's why Trump went ahead and made people sign waivers to come into his rally, so he wouldn't get sued. So
That's right.
we're open for disaster if we don't have a lawyer on deck. We don't have someone helping us and directing us. We're doomed.
That sounds like that circle of friends that Miss Racine was talking about, is just really having the right circle of friends around you, because those are things that a creative does not think about. I know when I opened up my business 5 years ago, I just wanted to do hair. I just was excited. I just wanted to make people look pretty and feel good and decorate. You know, a lot of times we don't realize that there are checks and balances that must be in place to be successful. And, you know, so that way you can step from behind the chair at least, you know, 2 or 3 days a week and not have to just work your life away. Because that's what was starting to happen to me. I was almost sleeping at my salon. I was there so much. I worked so much. Wow, that's powerful. But that's the circle of friends is important. Now, would you say, Kevin, that you would need a lawyer that is experienced in our industry? I'm assuming we can't just pick any kind of lawyer. What do you suggest?
Really a lawyer that covers like civil matters, civil cases. It can be any lawyer. It doesn't have to be a specific lawyer, but I don't know if all lawyers handle civic cases, but a lawyer that handles those civic cases, and that's really what I think.
You do want to have an attorney, a lawyer that is pretty well versed, pretty well rounded, because what they don't know, they can refer you. Lawyers know other lawyers. So wherever they're not as strong, you know, they can actually refer you and get you the support you need. But that circle of friends, like Racine was saying earlier, she's right. I mean, it's like you got to have those people in our corner. So thank you, Kevin. We're gonna we got a few more minutes left in the broadcast. Thank you, Texas, for this update. Altia is in the back room. We're gonna bring her in. I know we had her scheduled for earlier.
Okay. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you.
All right,
You
Kevin.
too.
Thank you.
Hang in there, Kevin. Hang in there.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Altivia, can you hear us? Altimia, can you hear us?
Uh-oh, can she hear us?
I don't think so. You got any sound? Altimia? She don't have any sound. Can you hear us? No, we'll bring her back in. We got about 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left in the broadcast. David didn't make it in today. Hopefully he'll join us next time. But, you know, we got to keep our eye on our industry, and we got to keep our eyes on our fellow professionals, right?
Yes. Absolutely. We have to check in, you know, we have to check in with each other. It's okay to reach out and see if your peers are doing okay, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, especially if you are, you know, a person that, you know, has a higher power. I say, you know, why not reach out to people? And if you have resources, please offer those resources out to, you know, our peers, because we have to stick together. If I know I keep saying it, but if no other time, now is the time for us beauty professionals to stick together and work together.
I agree. Let's see can she hear us? Can you hear us, Altimia?
I can't hear her.
I hear you. You sound like you're far away. You have some earbuds? You're gonna have to put on some earbuds, because we can't. It's like you're muffled. We know we can hear you barely. Grab some earbuds. We got about 2 minutes left. See if you can grab some earbuds. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad she was able to come on.
Yeah, we need an update. What's going on?
She's in Florida, I believe. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So we just, like you say, we have to keep our eye on the industry and on each other. Like we are our brothers' keepers. We are our sisters' keepers. We have to. We're in some strange times. This is uncharted waters. And it's hard. It's hard.
Yes, it is.
I'm not still behind the table, and I don't have a salon anymore. But I went through the 2008 bubble when we had that financial crisis, and I lost my salon right after that. So I know how hard it is in the midst of a storm to sustain yourself, because I couldn't. So I know this is a tough time. The good thing is that there, like Ms. Racine was saying, there's opportunity for loans and grants. That wasn't there for me. So let's see. I think Ms. Altina is back. We'll give her like another minute. Can you hear us? Oh no, we can't hear you.
No, I can't really hear her at all. I can
Okay.
see her. I see her beautiful face.
I know. See if you can get us some sound. We can't hear you. We got about 30 seconds left in the broadcast. Let's see if we can get her back. Can you hear us?
Yes, but I'm hoping technology. I'm trying to connect.
Yeah, just talk very loud. We can barely hear you, but give us a 30-second update if you can. Can you hear us?
Now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Just
That's a little better.
loud. It's a little better.
Well, here in Florida, I know we were all eager to get back to work, but I actually see right now it's extremely slow. Our numbers are rising. Everything is, I think we actually moved too fast here in Florida, because now our numbers are higher and we're threatening another shutdown. And honestly, I just don't know what my business is going to do. That my business is actually located in a mall, which is different from other salons. And we're on 25% capacity, 25% out of our hours. So our hours are not that bad, which, and I can only have 25% of my employees.
Yep, we're losing you again.
Some of it.
I'm actually trying to, I'm going to get this down for my next 60 so I can give you a great report. What I was saying is that I think Florida actually moved a little fast in opening back up. We're only at 25% capacity, which is hard for me, as Tamara was just saying, as an owner, because being in a mall situation, 25% is not going to cut it, because they still want 100% rent. Yes, believe that.
Yeah.
What I have my employees doing is I had to divide them up into 3 groups, and everybody's working like 2 3 days a week, so that we can try to service the clients, because we all can't be here at the same time. But the numbers are actually rising again, and we're threatening another shutdown. So I just don't know how, by the grace of God, I'm gonna pray and try to pray through it, but it's not good. It's not looking good here at all. And I don't know. We were at 50%. That was better, and business was better. But now they moved us back to the 50%. So I don't know.
So we're going to have you back. We're going to work out the sound issues and make sure we have you back next week. Danielle, please, let's bring her back next week at the top of the hour.
Yes, please.
We could hear you barely. What we heard is that you guys are threatening another shutdown. Business is not good. Things are very slow.
Yeah, the numbers are still rising.
And the numbers are still rising. So we want to bring you back. Let's work out these sound issues with you so that we can bring you back.
I'm going to have the kids hook this up, because I am told it took me 30 minutes just to figure out how to get you guys in. I'm older, so I don't know anything about technology. So I'm learning.
So we're going to get it right.
That's right. Hey, that's what the kids are for. To keep us young.
I have the earbuds, but I don't know how to hook them to the computer. So I'm going to have the kids hook them up. So next Tuesday I'll be on.
Yes.
All right. That'll be awesome.
Show us your t-shirt. She's one of us, everybody. Can you pull your camera down so we can see? There it is.
That's right. We get to represent. That's right.
I'll see you
we lost you again.
Next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. What a great broadcast, Danielle. We ran over our time a little bit, but it was all well worth it.
Yes, it was. It was great updates, great info. And just, I love, the advocates sharing what's happening in real time. because a lot of times, you know, we don't always put the bad on social media. We like to post the good, but we don't always talk about the bad and the things that are happening behind the scenes. And I just really want to encourage other beauty professionals. You know, we need 8 in every state. So please join us if you want to. You know, we're not a union, but we are working for each other. And, you know, it's working not like you said, not about the why of deregulation, but how to sustain during these times. We have to stick together. We have to work together. And if there's anyone in Michigan, the state of Michigan, please take notice. If you need help in that state, please join us. We would love to bring you on the team and start assisting you so we can, you know, take action against deregulation.
We are Politics, Beauty, and Barber. We are the concerned beauty and barber professionals. We will see you next Tuesday right here. Right here.
Yes.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye. See you next week.
See you next week.